Hey guys, welcome back to the Detour. I'm Cecily, and today we're going to be exploring a specific yoga posture, side angle pose. We're going to get into it through various different ways to make this whole experience feel a whole lot better for your lower body. So join me in a moment and I will see you on the mat. All right, so to begin with, let me remind you what side angle pose looks like. We're taking the feet wide. It's very similar to a warrior two here in the lower body. And then I'm taking my either elbow down toward that leg or the hand down toward the floor, eventually taking that upper arm extended overhead. So when I'm in this position, you can see that a lot of what's happening is centered around the legs. I've got a lot of extra rotation happening in this left hip, and I also need to be able to move my body in a way that allows me to access this type of range to bring my hand any closer toward the floor. So to begin with, what I would have someone start doing is initiate kind of some more awareness in the pelvic area and in the hips. So hip circles, something like this, could be used as a way to get someone feeling what kind of range they have when it comes to rotation. Going in both directions, sort of like we're just lubricating that hip joint, preparing it for movement. And then you go on to the other side, bringing that left knee in. And then opposite way. And you can move through those hip circles for as many repetitions as what feels good. Just noticing that if someone's really having a hard time with keeping the upper body solid and there's lots of leaning and dipping over to the side, I'd recommend dropping onto the elbows instead and giving someone a little bit more of a grounded base of support so that the shoulders and torso aren't really moving around very much and it's isolating just more so through the leg. From here, I'm going to come into a kneeling position and step that foot forward. My back knee is now going to pivot so that my heel is pointing behind me. And now you can see I'm kind of in a half warrior two-like shape, where I can work on isolating the sense of external rotation without there being as much load in the leg as if I was standing up. So examining how it feels, first of all, just let the knee fall in, and then accentuate the work in that left glute to externally rotate through that hip. Okay? And I'm going to do what's called a translation. So the arms are going to come out to the side, and I'm going to isolate bringing the rib cage over to the left, bringing it back to center, and then balancing it over to the right and center. Just a couple times. So that now we're looking to mobilize through the thoracic spine without doing a whole lot through my pelvis. We're going to get there in a second. Okay, and then keeping that torso down, it feels like it's centered position, I'm just going to isolate the hips into a lift on the left and then a drop on the left. Lifting it up, arms can go wherever they're most comfortable at this point. And then the idea is that my left hip's going to stay down, and now I'm going to move into a little bit more of a pelvic tilt under. So posterior pelvic tilt, dropping the tailbone in, and then taking the tailbone out. And just getting that sense of familiarity with all these different ranges of motion before we put them all together in the posture. So now I'm going to try and keep the left hip heavy, dropping down, the tailbone pointing straight down, which is going to help that right glute to stay engaged. I'm going to take those arms out, go into that translation, and begin to see how that feels. Maybe I take the elbow down, or if it's feeling accessible, I can reach the hand down toward floor or block. And now I'm going to let the right arm move. As I circle that arm, I'm just exploring the range of the shoulder, go in both directions. And now I've pretty much done the prep that my body's going to require to get into this position more fully. So, taking the back knee off now, I'll plant that heel, come up with the heels aligned with each other. My right toes are pointing towards you, my left toes are turned out 90 degrees, and I'm just going to start with the legs straight and look at what happens as I bend that knee. Because now I have a lot more load happening in that leg, and I want to feel that as my knee bends, I'm letting that hip externally rotate rather than dropping the knee inside. Okay? So as the knee continues to externally rotate, the arms now will reach out. I find that sense of translation. I'll just do a couple side to side. feeling that movement of my thoracic spine and rib cage, and then reaching out to the left, sending either the elbow or the hand down. A block could be there for the hand. And then with the arm, I sweep down in front of the face and take it up over the ear. So that now I'm endeavoring to create a straight diagonal line between that left wrist and the left ankle. So that now as I really root out through the outer arch of my right foot, sorry, I just said right ankle, right wrist, and as that diagonal line gets longer and longer, I start to feel a great sense of length through here. Now the trick is not to let things get really heavy. So I'm never collapsing into this left hand. Instead, I'm pushing weight down through that left heel. So it's a lot of work in that leg, but this hand isn't really all that necessary. It stays nice and light, right arm stays nice and long, and then I connect to the side of my body to push myself back up to standing. It's a lot of work when you put it all together, but with all those little component pieces, you can see how it's possible to break it down so that we can still work on the various things that our body needs so the pose is of its total benefit. I look forward to seeing you next time for our next exploration on the Detour. Thanks for watching.